Back now on Triad today, just about time for the roundtable, but another shout out to Adrienne Rothling and her team here at the Senior Botanical Garden. Please visit seniorbotanicalgarden.org. Better yet, visit the garden. It's a beautiful place. We thank them for their hospitality. Hope you'll also pick up your copy of Yes Weekly. And don't yell at me if you don't like it. My column, that is. All right, let's get to the roundtable. On my right, but always a political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster and journalist. Back behind him, we have persuaded David Daggett to stay over for us from his previous segment, of course, with Daggett Shuler. And rounding out the group and socially distanced back there, our friend Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, the tragedy that occurred with the insurrection at the Capitol last week happened just after we taped. We taped the show on Wednesday. It happened after that, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it. I want to spend a couple minutes on this real quickly, though, and go around the horn. Ogie, I'll start with you. Who or whom, however you want to say it, is to blame? A person, persons, give me your blame thing.
Of course, it all goes back to Trump, but he had a lot of enablers over the years. There's everybody, all the Republicans in the Congress have known he was a partner to the devil for 5 years. But everybody on that stage that day needs to be criminally charged. Rudy, Trump Jr., that goomer from Alabama, whoever he was, Cruz the night before in Georgia.
Enablers.
All of these guys were incite to riot.
Inciting language. David Daggett, I want to ask you about what's going to happen with sentencing in a second. But first question to you is, this thing about people are starting to be fired from their jobs if they've been identified as having been one of the insurgents. Is that legal? Will that kind of firing stand?
So there's different laws in different states. Employment laws are state by state. In North Carolina, we are an employment by will state, and I can fire you for any reason. I don't
Without cause?
Without cause. I don't like your hairdo, I don't like your socks, as long as it's not race, religion, sex, protected areas. Some states you have a right to peaceful protest if it doesn't reflect negatively on the organization. I believe most states, if you're in the middle of a criminal offense, you can be fired for that. So North Carolina, for any reason, I think most states you can be discharged for what happened during this.
Right. Now, very quickly, I know that there's federal laws on sedition. I think the maximum now is a 6-year prison sentence. We don't have to get into that, but 10 or 15 seconds on this, David. There's so many things that happened, so many things that were laws that were broken. What kind of sentencing are we looking at?
So what prosecutors are going to do is they're going to go down the list of charges. You usually go for the most severe. The most severe, I believe, is 20 years right now that they're investigating. But they're going to go through the list and they're going to charge everybody with the maximum that they can get that individual on.
Okay. Keith, no military presence, no National Guard, nobody to stop the insurgents. But only weeks and weeks ago, peaceful Black Lives Matter protests were bullied, tear gassed. What's going on?
What's going on? We know what's going on. I mean, the racial inequality of this whole incident is appalling. I mean, I'm furious. I mean, think about it. The police, many of the Capitol Police allow them to walk into the building. You're taking pictures with people. Let's start with, you're not even supposed to be in the Capitol in the first place. Everyone that walked in that Capitol should be charged with something. It's incredible. And if Black Lives Matter would have walked up those steps, there would have been hundreds of people injured, murdered, and to have zip ties. And we still are having people discuss why they want to have unity and allow this administration to leave peacefully when you had people walking around with zip ties saying, hang a vice president. How's that possible?
Yeah, it's horrible, and I wish we could do a whole half hour on this. The four of us are angry about what happened.
I want to say I agree, but it doesn't matter where you're on the political spectrum. No, this is wrong. It is what it is. Keith is exactly right.
Right.
And,
the Democrat, Republican, it's just wrong. I mean, but we do know that if Black Lives Matters would have been going into that Capitol, that there would have been a different
National
response,
Guard
because
would have
the
been there,
response that they had when Black Lives Matters was in town was a different response.
Well,
the National Guard was already there.
They call this just about all white group that broke in, the insurgents. I call them white trash cowards. That's how I see it. All right, given the obscene amounts of money spent on political campaigns last year, do you think President Biden and his new Democratic-controlled legislature, very quickly, guys, you think they'll try to overturn Citizens United, maybe even go so far as to do free ads for TV for candidates?
Well, if we're ever going to have any kind of meaningful change in this country, Citizens United's got to go.
David?
Yeah, I think you have to get away from grouped up money with, you don't know who's giving it. It should be individuals. I believe we still ought to be able to raise money from campaigns. We can raise a lot of money, but you ought to be able to see who it's coming from, not aggregate it from some blind source.
Right. Keith?
That's not going to happen. It's too much.
You want it to happen, but it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
All right. As Biden's team prepares to make vaccines more available, a hospital-based pharmacist in Wisconsin deliberately destroyed 500 doses of COVID vaccine. Since those doses could have saved lives, should that man be charged with attempted murder? Quickly, Ogie.
Why did he throw them away?
Some kind of belief. I don't know what his deal was.
Well, he's got to be charged with something.
They're still
Clearly,
investigating.
he's got to lose his job, be charged with something, not attempted murder.
It's not attempted murder, but he should be charged to the full extent of the law for the crime he committed.
Keith?
I think he should be charged with stupidity. If that's a crime, and he should get a lot of years for that.
All right.
I mean, he's killing people.
Changing courses here finally, guys. Meteorologists say you should never eat an icicle, that form because they're composed of mainly dirty runoff water and bird poop. Guys, have you ever eaten an icicle, Ogie?
Growing up all the time, every snow.
So we know what you're full of.
Well, the skies were clear back then too.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
that's right. David?
I plead guilty, and it wasn't just a long time ago when I was a kid.
Oh, Lord. Keith, have you ever eaten a bird poop icicle?
But I think that question's got bird poop in it.
This editorial comment was brought to you by Keith Cranberry. Nice of you to come in.
Keith, anytime.
Keith will be leaving the area in a minute. Well, that's all the time we have. Except for this. Archaeologists now say that there were actual fast food restaurants in ancient Rome where they served hamburgers. And that's where that phrase came from. Julius Caesar said, "At two, Brutus?" And Brutus said, "No, I just at one." See, it's an old, it's a burger.
There's that bird poop again.
That was not bird poop. I did not say anything with bird poop in it. For all of us here, try it today. I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.